Alright, well, I just got done taking my Part 107 drone exam. It wasn't as bad, wasn't anything near what I expected on hardness level. It was actually very easy, in my opinion, compared to all the practice exams I was taking on apps like the Part 107 app. Those were a lot harder questions. I did watch a few videos. I've been studying for about 2 weeks to gain the knowledge I needed to pass it. I passed with a 95%. I'm super excited about that. There was 65 questions, which 5 of them do not count, but they were mixed in with the 60 that do, so you really don't know which ones are which. I didn't actually need the book that they provided. I did reference it one time, but everything was in the exam on the computer, zoomed in to the part I needed to determine. I did not get any latitude and longitude questions at all to figure those out. I did get one that was very difficult for me to decide because I didn't study it, was lenticular clouds and what they do to an aircraft, how it would perform when you view those near a mountainous range. I didn't really know that answer. I just did my best guess. I had a lot of questions about risk management, crew resource management. Had one question about the attitudes, like the different attitudes for pilots. 2 questions about NOTAMs and determining weather on a NOTAM. There was some chart references, but not most of it was determining airspace and towers in an airspace and how high you can fly. Had quite a bit about cloud coverage and your limitations on when you and how close you can fly. Had one question that said the base of the sky was at 300 feet. When do you have to wait and how long before you can fly? Of course, you have to be 500 below a cloud coverage, below clouds, so you just have to calculate that out to determine when you can fly. A couple of visibility questions. Did have one question that threw me off, and it referenced other than a 13-year-old, what drones must be registered. And that question threw me off a little bit because there was 2 answers I thought were correct, but I had to choose my best guess. Had a couple of questions about frequencies, CTAV frequencies, which was pretty easy when they showed it to you. Just had to look for the Common Traffic Advisory. No big deal on that one. But it didn't ask me to reference the book one time at all. It did ask me about a Class Delta airspace and how high it can, what is the height of a Class D airspace. I know one of the answers. Sorry, got to scratch my eye here. It said up to but not including 1,200 feet MSL. The next one was up to but not including the overlying Class G airspace. And the last answer was 2,500 feet above the airport's MSL. So that one really threw me off. I went with B. Hope that was right. Because D can be converted to a Class G, even though there's a Class E airspace above all of that, which started at 700 or 1,200, depending on if it had a magenta line or not, a shaded magenta line. Which it doesn't tell you that. It's just a question about general Class D airspace. So look into that one. I need to look into that one and see if I got that one correct. I knew it wasn't the first one because it said MSL, not AGL. And if you looked at the appendix in the book, it actually describes all that in detail for you to help you answer the question. So always, if you have a question, reference the appendix in the book. There's like 6 pages, which can give you a lot of information to help you confirm your answer. What else can I say? It did have one question that threw me off about smokestacks and cooling vents and what kind of air you should expect above those. I chose turbulence, which was C, but one of the other answers was dry moist air, I believe, and stable, I think, was the other one. But that was something else I didn't really study and learn about with smokestacks and how that can affect my aircraft or my performance. There were some night questions on the exam. There were a few right-of-way questions. Hot air balloon question, by the way, was on there. I chose the one that said about could have antennas or ropes hanging down. One more that really threw me off is it said, what does the dashed magenta line on the right of number 3 represent? And it was a straight magenta line, not around, dashed magenta line, not around an airport. And it said 71 degrees west. I chose the answer that said a magnetic heading offset is what I chose. Due to it wasn't really, it had a degree reference and it was not involved with any airport, but it was based off of land to sea is where the line went. So I was saying an offset. Not sure if that was correct. It could have been one of the the survey questions that didn't count anyway. Definitely didn't have any of that in the material I studied. But overall, I think it was a success, and it was way easier than I've been preparing for. I over-prepared for this exam, thinking it would have been a lot harder based on the practice exams I was taking online and stuff. So I'm very excited. Don't be scared when you go in. Do not take anything in the area that you're taking the test. They lock everything up, including wallets. Don't take cell phones. They give you calculators. They gave me the book with a clear sheet to write on if I needed to. They gave me a scratch piece of paper and a slide rule and another ruler that I didn't even touch. They did give me a dry erase marker and a eraser to erase off the clear sheet if I needed to. Didn't use any of the tools they gave me. I was able to mark any of the questions I had, or mark any questions that I had questions about, and it in the lower right corner gave me the option to look at all of them and go back to the red ones to review and before I submitted. But don't carry anything in your pockets. They made me empty my pockets out completely. No smartwatches, take all your watches off. No cell phones allowed. Cannot take anything in the exam, on this exam, anything in with you. They give you everything you need. So, but don't be scared. It is not as bad as you're expecting. So, I hope y'all pass and hope this video helped. Thanks.